Chapter 8 Backstage with Initiative. On top of selling knives, I'm currently working at the events director for a nonprofit organization called the Front Row Foundation. My job is to give front row experiences to individuals who are braving a critical life threatening illness. Now, these experiences are usually concerts, shows, and sporting events, and ever since I got this job, everything I've done has been trial by fire. I really never got the proper training, so I've just been executing my role at a pretty good level, but it could be better. Now, what's great about the role is it allows me to job shadow other professionals from all over the US. Now, it's my responsibility to make events happen, and that means that I'm the salesperson, I'm the negotiator, I'm the booking agent, I'm the travel agent, the researcher, the photographer, the videographer, the video editor, the babysitter, and most importantly, the visa carrier. I'm the one who spends the charity's money. Now, what I love about this foundation is that 100% of the proceeds supports the dreams of the recipients. I do it because granting wishes and seeing people happy is really amazing. Now, I'm selfish with this job though. Why? Because I can't wait for those days when someone wants to see their dream band or celebrity, and it just so happens to be my favorite band or celebrity too. And I get to organize these dream meetups and piggyback off of it. So how cool is that? So one wish I granted for was for a gentleman in my hometown who had testicular cancer, and he got to go watch the local hockey team literally in the front row. Another wish was for a woman in Montreal, and she got to see her favorite singer live in Madison Square Garden in New York City. And seeing how happy these recipients were and how their families reacted to their experience was incredible. And this is the kind of awesome stuff I do. This job is extremely rewarding, but getting it was a pretty difficult transition for me. My girlfriend of 10 years left me a month just before I got a chance to grant my first wish, and I was really heartbroken. But I had people relying on me, so I had to keep things straight. The breakup was a big deal to me, but the people I was granting the wishes for were braving an illness, and I wasn't going to give up on them. Knowing I was making someone's day when they were fighting for their life gave me the strength to push forward with my own mental well-being. Losing my best friend, my lover, and significant other over a decade totally fucking sucked. Professionally, I was living my best life. I was selling a ton of product, granting wishes, starting side hustles, yet my personal life was pretty shitty, and I cried more that year than I've ever cried. Now, when I look back at some of the wishes I've granted, I feel like my heartbreak was peanuts compared to what people were going through. I was granting those wishes for their family and for them and what they were going through. My job requires me to prepare recipient events. My job requires me to prepare recipient events that's custom to a specific person. Now, I need to know everything about that person, so our recipients have to go through a pre-screening process. We ask them every single personal question we can think of, down to the things that might not even matter to some people. Now, not only do we need to know the prognosis, we want to hear about everyone in their family, plus things like their favorite restaurant and their color and their flavor of candy and even chips. This information allows us to grant them a wish that is highly personalized. When I granted my first wish, it was an amazing experience to see how strong the family was and how their community rallied behind them. It made me realize how grateful I should be for being healthy. That day changed how I looked at life and how I reacted to the environment and the people around me. Now, my second wish, I realized I should be grateful for being able-bodied because I was working with a young woman who could not walk, but who had the courage and the strength to pursue her dreams despite of that. So who the fuck am I to complain if my body's feeling a little bit tired or sore? And that's what I thought. Now, her desire to not let her disability define her was incredible. Just meeting her taught me how to respect my body, and you'll never hear me complaining about aches and pains because those will pass, but being paralyzed from the chest down doesn't. When the Front Row's chairman and I discussed when we can grant our third wish for the year, an opportunity came up in the US to help with an event and get my training done. Now, after we hashed out the details, it turned out that the destination was, once again, New York City. This time, the recipient loved Christmas and his family treated November and December like it's a 2-month celebration. Once all the plane tickets and hotels were booked, I got the itinerary for the New York experience. It was late in the evening, and I was just working on the final details of the trip while listening to some of my favorite dance musician, San Holo, on YouTube. I'd listened to his latest album, Album 1, on repeat for months, and yeah, I often hoped that he would perform in my city one day. Now, since I was tired, I decided to procrastinate and check out San Holo's website just to see if he was on tour. Now, every other time I checked, there'd never be anything in Canada. Nonetheless, I Googled his website, clicked on the tour dates. Still, there wasn't anything in Canada. But when I looked at his other dates, I cross-checked my travel itinerary and I just paused in disbelief. San Holo was actually going to be playing live in New York City, and I was going to be there. So, holy shit. I looked at the ticket prices and I was even more blown away. It was only $25 to get in there, and for $100 you could get a meet and greet with San Holo. And I honestly couldn't believe it. I had waited for him to come to my hometown, and now I'm going to meet him in a week. I quadruple checked the time and the date of the event, Googled the venue, and it was a literally 8-minute walk from where I was. Now, how could this work out any better? Doesn't matter. I was ecstatic. I went straight to my wallet, took out my credit card, and bought the meet and greet tickets there and then. Being able to arrange meet and greets is invaluable when I'm granting wishes. I get to see how happy people are when they get to interact with their favorite stars, and with San Holo, I needed to take a page from my own playbook and make sure I got to experience this in the front row. I'm granting my own wish. In life, we often do a cross-benefit analysis when we want to do something. We hum and we haw, and then suddenly we realize it's too late. And that's what the front row is all about, making sure it's not too late for people whose wishes we can grant. That's why I wasn't going to miss the opportunity to meet one of my favorite artists. So I plugged in my credit card number for those tickets. I prayed to the internet gods to take my money so I could get my wish granted. Now, life can throw crazy curves at you when you least expect them. You need to have the ability to recognize those occasions and the courage to take advantage of the opportunities when they come at you. Now, with this third wish I was granting, I was going to make an impact on the lives of the family in difficult circumstances, and as a bonus, I get a chance to grant myself a wish for a mere $100 in New York City. Now, at the time, I couldn't fathom how insane this situation was. Leading up to the trip, I was just so excited I couldn't sleep. Fast forward to the day of the concert. Now, I made sure I booked my flights that left extremely early, even before I found out about the concert, so I had some time to kill before my recipient event. Now, once I bought all the concert tickets, however, I planned my itinerary to the very last detail. Be on a plane and leave my hometown by 7 a.m., arrive in Toronto by noon. During my 2.5-hour layover, eat at the airport lounge, go back on the plane, then arrive at LaGuardia Airport in New York City by 4 p.m. I expect New York rush hour, so I planned on arriving at the hotel and getting checked in by 5:30. Leave 2 hours to eat, freshen up, walk to the venue, do the meet and greet, enjoy the show, live happily ever after. But guess what? None of that shit happened. Everything I planned went into the gutter right after I arrived in Toronto. It all started when the front desk checked me in and mentioned that there would be a delay in my flight to New York. How long, I asked. Your flight will be leaving at 4:45 p.m., and that's what I was told. That wasn't good news, but there was still hope. I thanked the check-in lady for her time, went to the airport lounge, sat down, did the napkin math, just to see if I'd missed the meet and greet. If the flight took off by 5 p.m. and landed by 6, I could still grab my luggage, go to the hotel, drop off my bags, and still arrive at the venue by 7:30. I could make it. At 3 hours in the lounge, I went to the buffet area, I grabbed some food, a pint of beer, I got a seat by the window, I planned to have a shower as well before boarding the plane so I could be washed up and looking my best when I met San Holo. Then the intercom went off. Mr. Wong, please report to the front desk. Thinking it was just a call to let me know that the shower was available, I left my food, my jacket at the table and headed over to the front desk. Mr. Wong, I regret to inform you that your flight to New York has been delayed again. We're terribly sorry. What time will it leave then? 6:15 p.m., sir. My stomach sank. Fuck. I was gonna miss my meet and greet, and I was disheartened, but I kept my poker face on for the clerk because I knew it wasn't her fault. So I asked, hey, I'm curious, what caused the delay? Well, she said that there was a pretty bad snowstorm in New York area, and most flights were delayed leaving here and there. So I got back to my seat, I Googled the weather just to see what pretty bad meant. That was an understatement. The snowstorm was the first really big one to hit eastern US that year. It was New York's biggest November snowstorm ever and the city's largest snow dump since 1938. Wow, nature had to wait 80 years to fuck up my plans. I topped up my beer and just started thinking about what to do. So I started going through my emails and looking for the meet and greet confirmation. Then I decided to email the promoter, show them my boarding pass and explain what had happened and hope they could set something up. Now, not long after I received a reply, they said that they couldn't guarantee anything if I was late. Man, that sucked. Okay, on to the next idea. In sales, when a customer says no, you just don't close up shop and walk away. You look for a solution, and I had to think of something. Social media. San Holo has an Instagram account. Why not? And I just sent a direct message with my photo and my boarding pass and my Canadian passport and a screenshot of my message to the promoter and a note saying that I would come straight from the airport to the venue with my luggage. I knew the worst thing a client can say in sales is no, no thank you. In this case, it would not be getting a reply. So I crossed my finger, I sipped my beer, and I waited. Within minutes, my phone vibrated. Someone had messaged me on Instagram. I opened my inbox and I saw a reply from San Holo himself. It was short and sweet. You're good, bro. I'll see you even if you're 2 hours late. If you're really late, this is my tour manager's cell phone number. Unbelievable. I bypassed all the bullshit with the venue and the promoter, and not only did I get a reply from the man himself, but he was willing to put himself out for me. All my thinking and fretting and internal angst evaporated with just one sentence to be replaced with euphoria and renewed excitement. I believe the moral of the story is that if you care enough and you're willing to put in the effort, you'll be rewarded. Even though my meet and greet problem was solved, I still had hurdles to go through. My flight was delayed again, and this time I was told I wouldn't arrive in New York until 9 p.m. I decided to do my best and send a text message to San Holo's tour manager. Now, even though I wasn't given the name, I did some Googling and I came up with the name Steve. But after I sent a message to Steve, I got no response. I messaged San again, and this time I got a laughing emoji and a question, how'd you get Steve? Google, I said. My tour manager is a girl. Sam replied and gave me her name. Now, I thought I fucked up at this point, but I know how to piggyback a mistake and turn it into my advantage. Now, just before I boarded my flight, I went to Starbucks and filled 2 venti cups with as many snacks as possible, and I told the barista to write Steve on both cups. Because I thought the tour manager would get a kick out of seeing it. She had an unusual name, and people often misspelt it. I felt like I needed to make an impact, and she was doing me a favor by letting me go backstage, so I just texted her. We exchanged a few text messages back and forth, and I said that I'll update her about my ETA. Now, once I was on the plane, I sent her a photo of the 2 Starbucks cups with the caption, I hope you want some snacks. She sent me back an LOL and just said to leave the cups at the merch booth and go find her later. Now, I figured I won over San Holo's gatekeeper. Now, all I needed to do was get to the venue. Now, I couldn't believe how things turned out. This wasn't going to be just a meet and greet. Shit, I was going backstage. I arrived in New York at around 8:30 p.m. I texted the tour manager saying that I landed and be there about 9:15. I went straight to the venue, and when I arrived, there was a lineup to get through security. I had my big-ass suitcase with me, so I just got some confused looks. Security asked me, yo, are you in the right place? I'm here for the show, I told them. Where'd you come from? West Coast of Canada. I had some delays, so I had to come straight here with my stuff. I placed my luggage on the security table, and the security person checked the whole thing. I was just so relieved in the moment because I was finally inside the venue and I could hear the music playing. Then I went to go find coat check and haul my luggage up these 2 big flights of stairs because it was on the 2nd floor. Didn't matter, I had a smile on my face. After I checked my bag, I went to the merch booth, dropped off the snacks and the coffee cups, and then proceeded to go to the front of the barricade. Having struggled so much to get there, I was damn well going to watch from the very front. I wanted to be close enough to smell the artist. I deserve it. 2 other artists played before San, and in that time, I made new concert friends around me. When the main event finally happened, it was an hour and a half of pure fun and joy. Now, after the show, I expected to hear from San's tour manager, but no message came. So I just went upstairs to get my bags, but there was a massive line for coat check, so I just decided to go back downstairs and wait it out. Now, unwilling to give up after everything, I took the initiative one more time and texted the manager. Hey, the line for coat check is really long. Just let me know what the game plan is. I got an instant response. Hey, I'll meet you at merch. Holy shit, this was happening. At the merch booth, the tour manager stuck out like a sore thumb. Her head was swiveling side to side. She had a clipboard and walkie-talkies on her. I walked up to her. Hi, it's Wilson. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate this. And I gave her a hug. No problem, she said with a smile. Now let's take you backstage to meet San. My heart was pounding. We walked past more security guards and I was finally backstage. Moments later, San Holo rushed up from behind me to put his hands in a bucket of ice. Hey man, you were so late today, he said casually. Dude, I had 3 delays I explained, and at that point, San extended his hand for a handshake, but I asked him for a hug, and I got it. And after that, we just talked and we hung out for about 20 minutes. And when it was time to leave, I took a selfie with him, wished him a good night, and we hugged it out again. As I was walking up the stairs to grab my bags, I just couldn't believe that any of that happened. The flight delay looked like it was going to be a fucking disaster, but it ended up being one of the greatest things that have ever happened to me. All because I took the initiative in a shitty situation. I learned a lesson, and I'll never forget. Don't give up. Never let a circumstance crush your hopes because you have control over everything. If everything had gone according to plan on that trip, it would still been pretty cool. But good thing it didn't, because when shit hit the fan, I was able to take action and turn that night into one of the greatest ever. Chapter 8 Summary. When your flight is delayed, always milk the airport lounge for what it's worth, and also start with the expensive stuff first. Accidentally messed up on somebody's name? Double down on your mistake, acknowledge the new name you just decided to give them. Attempt to solve all problems with crazy ideas before you bitch and complain. And last but not least, if you want to hang out with your favorite artist backstage, just message them because you never know.